All right, let's talk about something I'm sure we've all seen. You're on a team, you've got this brilliant strategy, a truly world-changing idea, and then it just fizzles out, right? It's a super common story. But what if the problem isn't the strategy itself? What if it's the lack of a solid plan to actually build it? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're going to build that blueprint, and I'll walk you through how to turn those huge ideas into a solid plan that actually, gets results.
So really, why does this happen so often? You see it all the time. A company announces some bold new direction, or a team kicks off a really ambitious project, and there's all this energy, right? But then fast forward 6 months, and it feels like, well, nothing's really changed. The whole plan just gets swallowed by the day-to-day grind. So what's the missing piece of the puzzle here?
Well, the missing piece is probably simpler than you think. I mean, think about it. You would never, ever try to build a house without a blueprint, would you? Of course not. You just end up with a messy pile of materials and a building that's pretty much guaranteed to collapse. It's the exact same thing with your strategy. If you really want to succeed, you've got to have a detailed, coherent plan that everyone can actually follow. You need that blueprint.
Okay, so let's start laying the foundation. What exactly is this strategic blueprint we're talking about? Well, the more formal term for it is the strategic framework. And honestly, it's probably the single most important tool you have for turning a great idea into a real, tangible outcome.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Another boring document to file away. No. This is not that. Think of it more like the master plan for your organization's future. The key phrase here is coherent structure. That just means every single part connects to every other part. It maps out everything, your big vision, your daily mission, how you actually operate, and yeah, even the challenges you're gonna face. It's the one guide that's supposed to direct everything else.
And building one has a pretty clear process. Here's the high-level view. First, you analyze where you are right now. Then, you map out the core pieces of your strategy. After that, and this is super important, you make sure it's actually doable. And finally, you execute the plan and you keep an eye on your progress. Every single step here is critical, but the real heart of the blueprint, that's in step 2, the mapping. So, let's zoom in there.
All right, so if our framework is the blueprint, what's holding the whole thing up? Well, it needs strong pillars, right? Something to support the entire structure. We're about to look at the 4 components that are totally non-negotiable. You have to define these things clearly right from the very start. So here they are, the 4 key pillars. It's best to think of them as the fundamental questions your blueprint absolutely has to answer. First up, your vision. This is the big one. Why are we even building this? That's your ultimate destination. Next, you've got the mission. This is the what. What, specifically, are we building? Then come the functions, the how. How is this whole thing going to operate day to day? And last, but definitely not least, the challenges. What are the potential risks we need to plan for? Like designing a building for earthquakes or storms. You have to think about that stuff from the very beginning. A beautiful, perfectly designed blueprint is totally useless if the construction crew can't actually build from it. And that brings us to what might be the most critical step of all. This is the place where most strategies completely fall apart, turning that plan into real-world action. So, how do you do it? How do you make it real? Well, here are the 2 secret ingredients. Every single part of your framework, everything, from the biggest vision statement down to the smallest daily task, it has to be 2 things, measurable and manageable. Ask yourself, can we track its progress with actual numbers? And is this something our team can realistically get done? If the answer to either of those questions is no, then sorry, but your plan isn't really a plan. It's just a wish. And this right here shows the difference perfectly. Just look. On the left, you've got that super vague goal, improve customer service. It sounds nice, right? But what does it actually mean? It just leads to confusion. But look at the right. You have a real framework-driven action, reduce average ticket response time to under 2 hours by Q3. See the difference? It's specific, it's measurable, it's time-bound. The one on the left is a hope that goes nowhere. The one on the right is a real plan that drives real results.
So what happens when you put this all together? You take your 4 core pillars, you define them, you make every piece measurable and manageable. What do you end up with? You get the finished blueprint. A plan that doesn't just collect dust on a shelf, but one that actually empowers your team to go out and build something incredible.
And this is why it's so worth the effort. With a solid framework, first, you get coherence. That means everyone is pulling in the same direction, no more confusion. Second, you get realistic execution, which is huge because it prevents burnout and all that wasted work.
And finally, you get clear monitoring, so you always know if you're on track to actually achieve that amazing vision you started with.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to take back to your own team or your organization. Just think back to those 4 pillars we talked about: vision, mission, functions, and challenges. Which one of those is the very first pillar you need to define to start building? Figure that out, and you're not just dreaming about a world-changing idea anymore. You're actually starting to build it.